Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are back after a long hiatus. It's Marc and Bryon. It's Geekonomics. We're back, and we're better than ever, as the kids would say. How you doing, Bryon?
Good, Mark. It's good to see you in person.
I know. No Zoom, no random weird thing going on where we can't do a show.
I was looking back. We haven't done a show in the studio since the spring.
Since the first time we did it.
Springtime.
Basically.
Well,
Yeah.
We did a few. And then summertime,
This is already
we
odd
didn't
levels.
do any of these.
Yeah. We were supposed to do it consistently.
But life
Our crew guy's in here.
finds a way of being busy for us.
Yes.
Anyway,
Jake's adjusting camera.
we got a lot to talk about. We're going to wait to talk about Loki next week because I have not watched any of it.
Of course not. We also have a new segment, a new part of the show that we're going to add. That Jake, our crew guy, is going to have his own microphone soon. We're saving up pennies. We're going to do a GoFundMe to get money to pay for his microphone.
So he can chime in when need to be.
Yeah.
So today we're going to focus on our season review of Ahsoka at the end of the show.
Correct.
We got a lot to talk about anyway, about catching up. What have we both been up to? But
It's not like we don't talk to each other. It's not like we're not catching up. We're catching you up.
Well,
we have conversations. So.
Yes. But before we
like we
get
haven't
into
seen each
anything,
other.
Mark,
Yeah.
we got to talk about East of the River comic book and toy and collectible show.
Yes.
October 29th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2 floors.
2 floors of fun and excitement.
Scott sold it out, man.
I know.
All vendors
I
were
know.
full. This is going to be one of the biggest shows
It's gonna be
we've
a hot
ever done.
ticket.
Yes.
Halloween weekend.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Brian's dressing up as a French maid.
Well,
It's going to be great.
we have D&D on Saturday.
Brian's
And
dressing up as a very exhausted gentleman.
I'm going to be an exhausted person. I'm hoping we can finish our session by 10, 11 o'clock.
I talked to Matt Ryan the other day, and he brought up, we were talking, and the show came up. He was like, "Oh, I might not need you to help me out." I'm like, "Oh, fantastic." He's like, "Oh, why?" I'm like, "Oh, we have D&D the night before. I know Brian's gonna be exhausted, so
Yeah.
I know I'll probably be exhausted. And
Well,
I'd rather
here-
sleep than go to
No
do-
matter what time we end D&D, okay, I will be up at 5 in the morning Sunday. No matter what time I go to
'cause you're a
bed,
machine.
I will feed the cats and I will go and help Scott out as best as I can. And then we are just going to go until 3 o'clock. I'm excited for this show. I hope everyone can come out. It's $1 to get in. If you want to come in for the early bird at 9, it's $3.
Which is a steal.
Local artists, local vendors.
Yeah.
You're going to support the local economy.
Yeah,
Come on,
the
check
new
it
issue
out.
of Brenda's out. You can purchase that.
And Matt will have that there?
Yeah,
I got to buy myself one.
yeah,
Nice. I'm very
yeah.
excited
I
for
think
that.
he's on the second or third one at this point.
Right. You're
Yeah,
right.
so
And I
can
got to
load
talk
up.
to him about the new Conan series. I've been reading that.
yeah. Well, you'll never get him to stop.
Issue 3 was the last one I read.
There you
so
go.
I am.
He's been very excited about it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
This was my jumping in point for Conan. I've never read Conan. Obviously, I know it about, but
Yeah.
Matt Ryan made me interested.
I have the omnibus that he uses to get people into Conan. Where if you'd like, I could let you borrow it.
Ooh, maybe I
I'll
will.
bring it with me on next time we do the show. Or
Yeah, I would
to
love
D&D.
that.
Yeah, because I started reading it and I'm like, nope, not getting into it.
Oh, you didn't like it? I mean,
It's just
so you bought it?
no. He gave it to me.
Oh, well, just give it to me then.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
if I paid for it, I wouldn't give it to you.
Oh well, I don't know. If you didn't
No, I
like
would
it,
if I
if
would-
you didn't like it,
I would've
I
given
mean,
it
if
to
I
you.
didn't like something, I'd give it to someone.
Yeah, no, I would have given it to you. Yeah, it'd be great. Take a space off my shelf. It's very, very thick.
Yeah, I would love to read it.
Yeah. Good.
My new philosophy.
I read
this
the old
year-
one, Savage Sword.
Yeah.
Is that the old one? I read that.
Is
that
it
was
good?
That was all right. I like that.
All right. This real quickly. This ties into my new look on life this year has been, you know what? If one of my friends or someone's really into something, I will give it a shot.
Yeah.
I honestly, I watched the wrestling and I was entertained. I did not watch the newest special. I just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
But I will. I am
Yeah.
interested to watch it.
Yeah.
And then with Matt, with Conan, and anything else really, I've been trying to do my best to be more open-minded and just give things a shot. Even if I have a preconceived notion that I wouldn't like it, I would be surprised. I've surprised myself multiple times, and I think life is better for it. Anyway, so east of the river, come on down. We're gonna be there. So that's out of the way. Obviously, this is something we've talked about. We've had a few guests on the writer strike. The biggest update is that negotiations have been broken down, so it continues.
It continues.
They are still. This is 4 days ago that was reported.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely need new content because I tried. Claire got the Walmart Plus from Walmart, where you get like.
There's a Walmart Plus.
Yeah, like you can get delivery to your house for free and stuff.
Yeah.
And with that comes the Paramount Plus subscription. So we got back on the Paramount Plus, and I was like tooling around. Still nothing on it that's worth watching. Especially since I tried watching the new Frasier show.
Oh, it looks horrible.
It is painful. I got through the first like intro segment of it, and I was like, nope, this is bad.
It got awful.
It's terrible.
You can have Frasier, but you need Niles.
You can have Frasier, but you need like the style of Frasier, like the style of the old Frasier show. Like this doesn't have that. This has more of the generic, like sitcom look to it. You know, it doesn't look like it's got the film.
Right.
Like it was shot, like Cheers was shot, like the old.
Yeah.
Just that look, you know. This one doesn't have that. This one has a very generic.
Without Niles, without that cast, Frasier's nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You need that cast. You
Him
need
by
that
himself
writing.
is just not funny.
Yeah. And if you look at the archetype of these shows, what made Big Bang Theory, I'm going to bring it right back to Frasier when I say this.
Yes.
Big Bang Theory had Sheldon.
Yes.
But if you go back in history of television, there is a Sheldon-like character that works very well.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's very successful. But if you go back, you had in Cheers, Frasier was married to Lilith, who was a Sheldon type.
Yes.
Then you go to Frasier.
You need the
Niles
quirky character.
Is the Sheldon type.
You need the quirky, like Will and Grace has Jack.
Yes.
You need that quirky character.
To bounce off of.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest mistake for newest sitcoms,
you can't have just the straight guy. You have to have the foil.
They're trying to make everybody quirky.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They tried to make everyone the straight man. Doesn't work. You have to have a good combination.
Yeah.
I think Community does it very well.
Even with Friends, they had Friends, and they had Joey as the quirky guy, and then they tried to spin him off onto his own quirky show, and it didn't. And they tried to make him the straight guy on that show, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Right.
It's like you took away the element.
So if Frasier doesn't have a Niles and doesn't have a father and doesn't have like anybody else,
even worse, they have Niles' son, who is a quirky character, but is really annoying.
Oh,
twice as annoying as.
So it's like young Sheldon,
Thomas Hayden, or whatever his name is.
But I love Niles. He made the show for me.
Yeah.
You know, and he became a standout character just like Sheldon became a standout character, just like Urkel became. That quirky character will end up overshadowing the main character.
Well, the trope of like the first show, like the reason why he moved back to Boston is because the woman that he ended the original show with after that Frasier started, because he went to Seattle to follow Lilith, but then him and Lilith got divorced and broke up.
Yeah.
So now he was by himself, and that was the whole story.
Yes.
And then the end of the Frasier, the original Frasier show,
I wouldn't know.
He runs off or gets married with this girl Charlotte, and they move to Chicago because she has a job there.
And they break up.
This show starts up. He's broken up again, and he moves back to Boston because his dad passes away, and his alma mater offers him a job at a college. Now he's doing like.
Oh, he's working at a college.
He's a professor or something now.
Oh God.
But I don't know. That's the rough.
So
idea
did you
I
watch
got of
it?
it? I literally, like I said, I watched the first not even 5 minutes of it.
And you turned it off.
Well, I turned it off because it wasn't that great, which I probably would have kept going. But Paramount Plus now has commercials that they put in like TV shows.
Oh.
So if you're watching it on their streaming service, you get like commercials every break.
Oh.
But even if you watch a movie, because I tried watching a movie on there, they give you commercials at the beginning.
I can deal with that.
3 minutes, which is fine.
Yeah.
I could wander around, do whatever for 3
Take
minutes.
a pee,
until that
make some
done.
popcorn.
Yeah, get ready to go.
Yeah.
And then I watch the movie. But with a TV show, the reason why I want to watch your streaming service is so you can watch your shows without having to sit through commercials.
Right. That's lame.
Yeah.
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 The only reason I would get Paramount Plus is to watch the new South Park special, but that will end up being on HBO Max
Yeah.
eventually. So
Everything's on the Max now. It seems like.
I'll wait. I don't need
Yeah.
Paramount Plus.
No. If we weren't getting it free through Walmart Plus,
You wouldn't have it.
I wouldn't have it
Right.
because we'd already had that and it was terrible.
Fair.
There's nothing on it.
Yeah.
I originally got it for the Halo show, which was terrible. So
Yeah, I'm not watching season 2.
I don't know if they're doing a season 2.
They are.
Are they?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. After COVID, they showed a photo of them
Well,
filming.
who knows
season
when
2.
it'll happen
Right.
with everything that's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to your previous topic about the Comic-Con at the Scott show, I've had a thing. I was talking with Josh about this on the way in today. I've had a thing where I started waking up now. I wake up at 6 no matter what. I don't know why. I don't know how this happened,
Welcome to the club.
but it's I don't know what happened.
No matter
6
what
o'clock
time you
hits
go to
and I'm
bed.
awake. Yeah, no matter what time I go to bed, I'm up at 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I have no idea why.
I think it's a part
Is it
of
an
getting
old age
older.
thing?
Yes.
I don't like it.
Mark, this has been going on for
But I'm wide awake and I don't feel tired. Like I used to be. If I would wake up early after not getting to bed early, I'd be exhausted. But now
Yeah.
I get up at 6 and I'm good. I don't care how long I've
I get up
slept.
at 6. My battery starts turning off around 10.
Yeah,
That's it. Done.
around 11. I can hang till midnight 1 if I really
Oh,
wanted to push
I can't do
it.
that. I can't do that at all.
If I wanted to push
toast.
it, I could do it. Last night, I got home around 7 or so from the last go-kart race of the season. So, yeah. So I got home around 7 because we're in New York, and it was a 2-hour drive home. And it was long. Taconic Parkway to the 90. It's a very boring ride.
It is a very boring ride. But I think going back to the 6
but yeah.
o'clock thing, I think it's part of getting older where
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I
Yeah.
was saying because I got home at 7, so I was still winding down, even though Claire had been home all day, so she was
Yeah.
exhausted, ready to go to bed at 9.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I'm still amped. Even after D&D, if we play till midnight, by the time I drive home, a half an hour home,
Yeah.
I'm amped already. I'm jazzed again. So I need to
I know.
decompress before I can fall asleep. I can't just go home and crash.
Go oh my god.
Yeah. So I can't do that. So that's why it's I need at least an hour afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
To,
Well, if your body starts waking up at 6, believe me, eventually your body is going to be like,
Yeah.
go to bed earlier.
Well, I'll say I get up at 6, but I can also still as of right now, I could still decompress and fall back to sleep a little bit. I think what it is, and she doesn't listen to the show, so she will never get aggravated about this because I brought it up to her already. Claire goes to work for 7,
Yeah.
so she gets up around 6, and then as she's getting ready to go, around 6:30, she comes in, says her goodbye before she goes to work and everything, but she leans in, and I think it's because my body's just all right, this woman's gonna wake you up at this time every day.
Yeah.
We should just be awake because it's driving us insane that we get woken up every morning
Yeah.
and then we have to fall back asleep for 2 hours. So we're just up now.
So the truth comes out.
Yeah, so we're just up now. So I think that's what happens. It's a preemptive thing that my body's doing.
Yeah.
If we just get up and we just lay here until she
Yes.
comes in and does the goodbye thing, we don't have to re-establish the sleep pattern again.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
it's all being solved in my head as we're talking about it. This is what this is for. Talk it out so I can figure it out.
See, I thought you were just waking up at 6, but now the truth comes
Now
out.
the truth comes out. I
Your
figured
wife
it
is
out.
leaving.
She's leaving to go to work.
Yeah.
But now she's got a new job starting at the end of the month. And she's literally 5 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
So she won't be that time frame anymore. So who knows? We'll see how it goes. But you're right, though. I know you've talked about this before, that if you get up at 6,
Yeah.
you can get a lot of things accomplished.
Yes.
I'm starting to find this out.
Well, yes. This is
I'm watching watching things. I'm oh man, these things I could have. Usually would stay up late after Claire would go to bed to watch.
I watch it in the morning.
But now I can watch it in the
I
morning.
watch stuff in the morning.
Yeah, so my whole
on the weekends, I can get things.
things being shifted.
I get everything done before noon around the house.
Yeah.
I'm a person about getting the stuff done early and having the rest of the day to myself.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
am.
But with these strikes, back to the strikes. Now that we're solved another problem. Back to the strikes.
There's something else.
I'm starting to find out that we're getting close to the end of things that have been produced.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get a strain on me of finding things to
You'll
watch.
be fine. You'll be fine.
It's not. It's
but
getting
I
bad.
have big. Did you hear the big
I'm starting
news?
to watch bad shows that I don't want to watch.
Well, did you hear the I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me too much, but the big news is during the writer strike and the actor strike, they had filmed about 8 episodes worth of the 16 episode Daredevil, Born
Yes.
Again. They scrapped it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
They're starting
from scratch.
from scratch.
Yes.
And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the
Like
Disney...
they're bringing people back that they hadn't brought back originally, I heard too.
No. Kingpin, The Punisher, and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Everyone else has been recast.
Yeah.
But they watched the footage and they were not happy with it. They said some of the footage could be salvaged,
Yeah.
but
It's like the fight scene.
they fired the writers, the new writers in, and I think this is one of the biggest complaints, in my opinion, with the MCU and the Star Wars shows. And I think with this writer's strike and everything, they don't have a showrunner. They don't have a show Bible. They don't have consistent writers.
Yeah.
And so they want Daredevil, instead of being in Hollywood Reporter, the rumor is they want Daredevil to be a show that can continue and not be a limited time thing.
Like a one-time thing.
And the way it was written.
Yeah. Like Moon Knight was and all these other shows.
And this is my biggest complaint is these shows don't have consistency. A lot of them have been lackluster. Secret Invasion was a wet fart. I mean, they need to up their game in this department. They're really struggling. And I think it's probably a good thing that Daredevil got scrapped and they're going to start anew.
Yeah.
Because that tells us that maybe they were like, quality control is on the up now. And they're like, no, this is not the quality we want.
Yeah.
So, D'Onofrio.
I think they just had time also to look at things as opposed to before where they would just churn them out.
Yes, and not the quality. It was quantity over quality.
Except for Loki, which is surprising because it's like of all this stuff, the Loki show.
Well, I mean,
this
Loki
season has been ridiculous.
I mean, WandaVision and Loki were the first two, and the quality was good on them.
Yeah.
Then it just kind of slowly got worse.
Yeah.
So,
well, they also were trying to
do too much.
Push characters that nobody cared about.
But it's also too much.
I.e., She-Hulk. No one was clamoring for a She-Hulk show.
Yeah. I mean,
she was great as She-Hulk,
but the writing was
the writing was bad.
Bad. Anyway, the focus is Daredevil. We're going to have to wait a lot longer because now they're going to
either way we're going to have to because of the strikes anyways.
Well, yeah, if the actors are still on strike.
The actors weren't even close to getting back.
But
and now
maybe
the writers are back out, so
But this is a good thing. So maybe the writers can actually write a good show. Because honestly, if Daredevil...
Yeah, but they're not even going to start writing it until after the strike's over.
Well...
They can't hire them. They can't start writing the show now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you scrapped all the scripts, you have to wait till the strike's over to hire new actors, new writers, to then write the shows. So that's even going to push it even farther back. That's the thing. I don't think anyone gets that part of it. It's like all this stuff, it's not going to just magically just kick right back off again.
Yeah, it's the SAG, AFTRA strike negotiations have broken down.
That's the actors.
Yes, it's the actors. I apologize.
So not the writers.
Writers are good. Actors
So
are
this
not.
whole story that you started with is completely wrong.
Did I? Yeah, I
Yes.
apologize if I got that confused.
This whole conversation we've been having has been no point whatsoever.
No. The actors are still on strike. The writers are back. So I apologize. The writers can come back and start writing Daredevil.
Yes, they can because they're not on strike anymore. Good thing we solved that today.
But the actors cannot film anything.
You can't act anything.
Yes.
But you can write as much as you want.
But it still goes to show that these strikes were probably a good thing, that they can see this footage and be like, this is not good.
Yeah. Well, at least now they can hire writers to fix it as opposed to waiting.
Right.
Till the strike that was never happening.
It's not a good sign when they fire the writers. Now,
it's also not a good sign when you can't read.
Well, I misspoke. That's the problem. I misspoke. I apologize. And in my notes, I wrote writer's strike stop negotiations.
Well, your notes are incorrect.
I should have said the actors. I apologize.
Yeah.
Actors. Okay. Let's move on for this. It's a simple mistake. It's not a big deal. My point.
What happens when we take 3 weeks off?
I know.
Your brain doesn't know how to connect.
My point being, on the Daredevil front,
Yes.
My point being on this.
There's new writers.
Daredevil has a lot of it was one of the best shows of the Netflix Marvel stuff.
It was the show of the Netflix Marvel stuff.
If Daredevil had come out and was a disappointment, there would have been riots. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of build up to this.
The slight talk I've been talking about with the Kevin Feige situation probably would have intensified to other people thinking the same thing that I've been thinking, that it might be time for someone else to take over.
Well, or you know what? You know what I like the idea of? After Secret Wars, just give the MCU a break. Stop. Just pause. Hit that pause button.
I know you'd like that to happen, Brian, but as we've said on this show
I know
multiple
Disney
times,
likes to.
Disney will never do that.
Disney likes to just squeeze out every
They
rock.
need to make that moolah, that lack of the green.
But anyway,
And
I think
the rumor is that Secret Wars is going to be a soft reboot of the MCU.
you know what though, we haven't even gotten to that point.
Oh, I know.
So,
I'm saying,
yeah.
but that's like they're even going to like recast characters that we've seen before.
I don't know.
They're going to bring them back
You know
as
what?
different people from different universes, i.e., Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and Natasha.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of over the multiverse right now. I just want good. I want good stories right now. That's what I want on the MCU right now. That's so. Loki, we'll talk about next week. I will start watching Loki.
We have like the Marvels in like 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm not that excited.
I know. I asked if anyone wanted to get tickets, and the only person that responded was John.
No, it was me.
Oh, was it you?
Yes, it says sound good. When do we want to buy the tickets?
I put the times on there, but no one responded back.
All right, we'll buy them today.
Okay.
I know the pre-sales projection is very low in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew I didn't know there were pre-sales already for that
Because
movie.
the thing is, and this is the other thing I think is happening now that people are starting to catch on to, movies are coming out, but there's no one to promote them because you can't have the actors promote the movies. It's like things are coming out, but you can't. Like,
late
even
night
on
shows
late
are
night,
back.
but they can't even go on them and talk about the movies because they're still on strike.
Well,
So like Marvel's going to come out, but you're not going to get any of the actors promoting the movie.
I think there's a lot.
So there's no there's big movies that are coming out that people just can't, like, you're not hearing about because there's no actor to promote it.
I think the Marvels has a lot of things against it right now. Like, I love Alison Brie as Miss Marvel. I think she's great. I've never. Okay, one character is from WandaVision. One character is from another TV show.
The Marvel.
So now you have homework. Then
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Brie Larson, not Allison Brie. Allison Brie's
Brie
from
Larson.
Community.
Anyway, yeah.
I was like, I can look at my phone for a second, and luckily our crack staff in there,
All right.
who's hopped up on Dunkin' Donuts right now, was telling me.
All right. So anyway, it has that against it. Then you're right. Nobody can go out and promote it really.
Yeah.
Also, there is superhero, as much as people might want to argue against this, there's superhero fatigue going on where people are sick of mediocrity and it's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's got to be good. I'm
there's also
sorry.
the-
if
I mean,
it's
and
if
not
it's
for-
not good,
And not
people aren't
that
going to go.
I think this, but there is a section of the fan base that thinks this. A full woman casted superhero movie.
That doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bother you or me, but there's a segment of the fan base that's not a fan of that.
That is a
Like
minority.
Miss Marvel, when it came out originally, had that flack to it.
That's I would argue it's a minority.
Yeah, but those minorities play on their laptops and type away.
They don't
Keyboard warriors, if you will.
they don't really do anything, in my opinion. But but that is a good point. But also you have the fact that Secret Invasion came out and everyone's trying to get over that. Ant-Man wasn't that great. So I think with Loki season 2, if Loki consistently can be good up until the very end and stick that landing and people are on a high from that,
Yeah.
I think that could be the saving grace that people will be like, okay, well, Loki season 2 was great. Let's
I
jump
think,
into
like,
this.
there was that thing that we thought going into Ant-Man that it was going to be the thing to launch the Kang character into, like, the big bad position, like Thanos was.
Yes.
But I think just the first 2 episodes of Loki watching it, I think that's what this is going. Like Loki's going to be that to launch Kang into the big bad position. Because just in the first 2 episodes, not like putting out any big deep secrets, it's very heavily suggested Kane's the big bad of the show.
We know,
But I mean, like the way
yeah.
they're telling the story is like they're saying like could be, like it's even mentioned in the show a couple times. Like this could be worse than Thanos. Like this could be, you know, like a universe ender. So
we shall see. I'm hoping Loki season 2 continues to be good. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things. And
Data from Goonies is amazing in it.
yes. What's his name?
I always forget his name.
Short Round. From
Yes.
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
But yes,
He was
you're
in
right.
the one that won the Oscar there.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's the name of
which,
it.
in my opinion, does multiverse right.
Mm.
So it was so good.
Surprisingly,
Amazing
I didn't
movie.
know this. The mom from that was in Transformers. Michelle Yeoh, is that her name?
Yeah,
Yeah, she was in the new Transformers movie.
I never saw it.
I just saw it over the weekend.
Oh.
That was the movie I watched on Paramount Plus. 'Cause I
Yeah,
was like-
yeah.
I heard there was a thing about them and G.I. Joe at the end.
Yes.
Like, let me see what this is about.
But the
'Cause
movie
I'm a
under-
huge Transformers guy, and I'm
but-
a huge G.I. Joe guy when I was a kid.
But the movie underperformed, so who
Let's
knows
see.
what will happen.
I mean, it wasn't fantastic. The fight scene at the end reminded me very much of Ready Player One
Yeah.
in the way it was shot. Like, I think they just used stock, like, CGI footage
Probably did.
for it. Unicron was a weird choice
Yeah.
to just drop in because he's like a huge bad. And there's like, they use like Scourge as the big bad, which in the original movie, Scourge is like killed in like the first 5 seconds, it feels like.
Oh.
Because then Megatron takes over as the like herald.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just very strange. It was very weird.
I mean, for the most part, all franchise movies underperformed this year. So I
Yeah.
would be amazed if this.
And Pete
G.I.
Davidson as
Joe-
Mirage was just a bad choice.
Yeah, people didn't like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
He was annoying.
Um,
I don't get the Pete Davidson thing.
I like
still
Pete
don't
Dav-
get
I like Pete
thing.
Davidson. I gotta watch SNL. I'm so excited. I haven't. See,
Claire's
I'm so
excited
behind.
about it too. I don't find him funny.
I like
I
Pete
don't find him
Davidson.
interesting. I feel bad for him.
Why?
I don't know. I just look at him and I feel bad for him.
That's a weird thing to say. Why?
I
do you
don't
feel
know
bad
why.
For
I just
anybody?
feel bad. I just like feel like there's like
Why?
something going on that I feel bad about.
Well, he suffers from
Yeah.
depression.
Yeah.
He's been very open about that.
Yeah. But I could just like I don't know. There's like something in his. I've said it to Claire a couple times. Like when he's on TV and he's like I'm looking at him and I look in his eyes and it's just I feel bad for the guy.
I
I feel like there's
don't.
something going on there that.
Do you see all the girlfriends he's had? I don't feel bad for him for a minute.
Yeah, but all the girlfriends he's had means he's been broken up with all those times too, and then that's not fun.
I don't feel bad for him. But
I mean,
I like him. I like
I
him.
think I empathize for him or something. There's like a different word than that. What I
Yeah,
was meant.
yeah,
But there's like I don't know. There's something there. I don't know.
Well, his dad did pass away because of 9/11. So
Yeah.
let's
Well,
not.
in 9/11, not because of 9/11, but in the events of 9/11.
So because
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we're tomato
Yeah,
tomato.
tomato.
All right, let's not go down this weird
Yes.
this weird
Yeah.
hole.
So Transformers, Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, what would you give it?
I'd give it about a 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay. Well, I saw.
And the tag at the end for the G.I. Joe thing.
Yeah.
If the guy they cast, the guy that was the G.I. Joe representative guy, if he's playing like the Dennis Quaid character, Dennis Quaid character from the original,
Yeah.
like if he's playing Colonel Hawk, that's a bad choice.
I don't know who it is.
It's a character actor that I've seen in a bunch of things. He reminds me of, he's like a poor man's Stabler.
Okay.
If you saw the guy, you'd know who I was talking
Chris
about.
Maloney?
Yeah, but he's like a poor man's version of that.
Oh.
You know, he's
It-
got the same look.
It
like
wasn't
the
Christopher
bald-
Maloney.
No, it wasn't Christopher. I know who that is.
Okay.
But this guy, like, I can't remember his name, but I've seen him in, like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a character actor, been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, ugh.
That's a shame. Well,
Yeah.
I've never
And the
watched
main
any of
character,
them
main
either.
actor they picked is just weird. It's just a really weird story.
Well,
It takes place in 94, but, like,
Yeah.
stuff doesn't look like 90. Like, they tried too hard to make it look like 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird.
So that means it's a prequel to the Transformers
Yes,
movie.
it's
the
a
first
reboot
one.
of the story.
Oh boy, another
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
On Michael Bay it, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Well, speaking of something similar, I saw Exorcist Believer, which
Yes.
is a direct sequel to the
To the first one. Yes. Isn't the mom in it from the first one?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
bad. It is not good.
I've heard that. I've heard bad things.
I went, thought I was gonna be scared. The trailer was really good.
The trailer was freaky.
It was. It was boring,
I've
not
heard that.
frightening, lackluster.
I heard unentertaining. I've heard that.
Yeah, honestly,
Just like gore, like horror to have horror. Not like there was no point to
the
it.
next day, I pretty much wiped it out of my memory. If I had to give it a number, I'd give it a 2 out of 5. Yeah, it was really disappointing. And they brought back the mom
Yeah.
from the first Exorcist,
Mm.
and they use her in a horrible way, and she gets her eyes gouged out, and at the end, she says hi to her daughter, and I'm like, why did they even have her in this movie?
Is she dead then? Did she die?
No, they just her eyes get poked out by the demon child.
And so then does like Linda Blair show up?
Yeah, at the end, because she says hi, Mom.
And she
'Cause-
could see her?
No. She's in the
like,
hospital
reading
just
Braille?
saying her name over, and she comes over and she's like, "Oh, hi," and that was the end. I'm
And they
like,
just show her?
Yeah.
Like it was like, hey, look it, we got Linda Blair to show up for a
yes,
second.
yes, it's lame. It's not a good movie, and the movie wasn't even there.
To me, like the thing would be like if you're gonna have
They were
the
pasted
sequel,
in there. They were pasted in there.
why wouldn't you have Linda Blair's character who dealt with that and been through that be the person to come
Right.
instead of the mom?
Right.
Because the mom didn't have really anything to do with it.
No, because she was dealing with everything in the real world while the priests and everybody were
Yeah.
trying to handle
Yeah.
the kid.
Yeah.
It was
Seemed like a shoehorn.
It's a cash grab.
Yeah.
It's not good. I wouldn't waste your money, even on streaming. If it's free, sure, but very disappointing. Very disappointing. I think that was really the only new movie I watched.
Oh, okay. Sorry, going back, I was looking up that character, the actor from Transformers to see who it was. Michael Kelly is the gentleman's name.
Oh,
He's been in a bunch of things.
Michael Kelly. I can Google him.
He's right here. I got it right here. He was in Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, I got him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now You See Me, Man of Steel.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays Agent Burke,
Yes.
who was this like random. He's been in other stuff too, but yeah,
He looks old.
yeah, it's the poor man's Stabler. So I think of it. The poor man's Christopher Maloney.
Right. He's a thinner version.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, he was in
too funny.
Unbreakable. He played the doctor in Unbreakable.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
We don't need to go through his whole thing.
Yeah, his
but
whole just real.
his whole filmography.
Yeah,
here.
but yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, random placement, random casting.
Yeah, that is very random.
Yeah.
Okay. Marcus,
Yes.
shall we go into Ahsoka
Sure.
season 1?
Yes.
I say we'll break it down. You know, the show's been out. It ended.
down.
It's a couple weeks after everybody. There's gonna be spoilers.
Yes.
I'm assuming everybody's watched it, or if
Yeah,
you haven't
everyone's
watched
talked
it,
about
you don't
already.
care.
We're just gonna be the last people to talk about it. That's what it boils down to.
Yes.
You come here to hear it last.
this
Hear
is-
about it last here on Geekonomics.
Well, we also didn't do a show. What
Yeah,
are we
but
gonna
no,
do?
yeah.
Life
No, I'm just saying,
happens.
yeah.
Now I like this angle because we're coming up from your angle, who's
Yes.
watched the cartoons.
Correct.
My angle, who's not.
Correct.
So I think this shall be interesting. I think
It shall.
yours will be a little bit more positive than mine, and that's totally fine. So
In certain parts.
let's go over. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start. Your overall thought about the series as a whole. I'll let you go first.
Okay.
But what stood out for you? What didn't work for you? What did work for you? You know, just
What stood out for me was the definitely the continuation of the Rebels story,
yeah,
and that they were doing it in live action, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the fact that they the people they cast for most of the people from Rebels was really good.
yeah,
Having the original voice actor for Thrawn come back as Thrawn was awesome.
yeah,
Seeing the Night Sisters in live action was really cool.
yeah.
Uh,
I would say the
a
casting
lot of
was
visuals
good.
were very cool. Yeah,
Yeah, visually it was good. Yeah,
The story was really good up to a point, which I'll get to in the con section. The episodes with Hayden Christensen as Anakin
mm-hmm.
and that interaction with him and Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka was excellent. I think that was very cool to see that flashback. Yeah, it was a really good show. I liked it to a point.
Okay. Well, put a pin there. Put a pin there.
The cons I have for it, not a fan of the actor they cast as Ezra. I know he looks like him, but I just didn't get the same vibe
Yeah.
from him as I did the cartoon version of the character.
Yeah.
Now it just seems like, I don't know. It could be the thing of him just being a teenager that was trapped on this planet for however long it was, and he's still a teenager because he had no interaction with anyone but like those rock turtle things.
Yeah.
So that could be the reason why his like actions were very weird. Some of the things at the very end of this season didn't really make sense. Like, how did Ezra know where the fleet was?
Yeah.
How did he find them without any knowledge?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the fleet wasn't anywhere that anyone would know about. And how does he know where just to go rocket to them and just
Yes.
land a ship right there and be like, oh, hey, guys.
And why would you walk out wearing that helmet? That made no sense.
Or why don't you just come out without
Right.
anything? Yeah.
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 Like they all drew their
And
guns.
why did we not see anything about him stealing the ship, getting off the ship?
Right.
Why did we not
How
get any
did
of that? We got none of that.
This is good. I'll go into my cons.
So,
I'll let you finish.
To me, the thing that I thought first off was, and it like, because I always go pessimistic first with the story. Are they going to say Ezra turned? And
No.
they're like he got on Thrawn's ship, was able to get a ship and get off there without any
It makes no
big
sense.
to do.
It makes no sense.
Which is that? That's what I'm saying. But I'm just like reasoning out in my head when I was watching it.
No, it's just bad writing.
Yeah. So that's what I
was
came down
bad
to. Was that
writing.
it was just bad writing. There was not any
Bad
like,
writing.
It seemed like they didn't have an out. Like they couldn't think of a good out.
Yes. It's very rushed.
It seemed like they had a story up to a point and then they just like ended it
Yes.
because they needed to end it for some reason.
Yes. I kind of feel like
It could have been.
this
and I don't
should have been
know
more than 6
if there was
episodes.
anything that was involved in this because I don't remember when it was shot. If it had anything to do with the strikes coming and they had to get out at a certain time or
this
something.
was all in the can before the strikes.
So I don't know, but it seems like there was something that just like either they ran out of money or something happened, and they're like, "We gotta close up shop because we gotta get this over with." Because it just ended. There's no like real ending to the story or any kind of continuation point that makes sense in the story.
I think this comes down to my point
like
I made
Thrawn
before.
doesn't like you don't see Thrawn when he gets back
Right.
to this galaxy.
Right. Well,
You don't
let's
hear
put a
any
pin.
point of that. You don't see like the weird ending of Ahsoka just like staring off. And why would Sabine be able to see Anakin? And why would she not freak out seeing a ghost of some random guy in the middle of this field?
Well, she says, I felt something. She
Yeah.
didn't see anything. She
Yeah.
said, I felt something.
Yeah.
So it's indicating she's now, all of a
Part
sudden,
of the
has the
legacy.
Force.
She has the legacy all of a sudden. Well, no, it means that she's. I think what they're saying
which
is
I don't really care. but-
she feels the legacy of the Skywalker lineage.
See, I just saw
from
it as she
Ahsoka.
felt the presence of Anakin. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's what I'm saying. Because I think now she's accepting Ahsoka as her master in the Force or as the Jedi, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the whole Balin thing didn't really get paid off well.
The best two characters got shafted.
Yeah.
Their story arc, they had no story arc.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, my two favorite characters, but they ended. It was just like Balin was like looking at a statue, and he's on a statue,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay. And then what's her name?
She just meets up with the
She like raises her boombox like, and she's
Say
gonna
anything.
say anything.
She's gonna be like,
and I'm like,
love me,
what?
everybody.
What is going on?
I'm now the leader. Because they're saying that she's now the leader of the Mercs guys or whatever.
The Sand People.
The Sand People, basically, because
Yes.
she's got the spear from the head of the Sand People or whatever.
Yes. I'll let you continue.
Whatever. So,
I'll save it for
yeah.
me. Anything else?
I think and there was just like the cheap try to pay off things with the Leia and C-3PO thing. Like C-3PO coming in just to, hey guys, remember the original stuff that you liked? It's still connected to this story. They do that
C-3PO did
sometimes.
nothing for me, really.
Well, because it's like that's what they're like
I was
their
just
fan
kinda like,
service thing.
okay.
They're like, hey guys, this is all part of that bigger story. Remember that one you liked when you were a kid? It's still around. We still have some of the people already available to throw things out.
Well, I mean,
So we're gonna throw one of them at you. Here's a little like original trilogy tidbit for you to get you through.
I get that, but I mean, in the same way, Anakin's kind of like the member berries for people
Yeah.
like you. So I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. I
Yeah.
get what they're doing. I don't. It's a connected world, so
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me.
No, I know,
didn't
but it was
make
just
me
it just seemed like
excited
a
or anything.
cheaped out solution to this stories.
Well,
It seemed
she's
like
dead.
all the stories.
So
got
what are
cheaped
you
out.
gonna do?
No, but I'm saying, but they they de-aged Luke. They could de-age her,
But she's dead.
but they could still come up with something.
They would have to get permission from her family.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but
everything.
whatever. But besides that, I didn't even say you need to have her in the show.
Costs
but,
a lot of money.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to really even do that. You could have just not involved her at all. And
Do you
not-
want to? Let me give you the cons,
You know.
my pros and cons, and we can discuss. Okay. Did you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's put
When
a
you
pin.
say stuff, I'll think.
Put a
about
pin
it.
in
Yeah.
some stuff. The one thing I will say before I get into mine real quick. Well, no, it's actually part of my cons. My pros for Ahsoka. Going in not knowing. I liked the way it looked. I thought not knowing, other than watching the animated movie, I thought it was well cast. I thought cinematography was really nice. I thought it had a good beginning. Then it kind of lost me, and then by the end, I just didn't care about anything really. But I want to say positive here.
Yes.
I did enjoy Dave Tennant's character, that droid.
Yes.
He was a standout. Obviously, Balin and what's her Chai. Anyway, those two were great.
Sai. Chin.
Yeah,
Shin.
Shin.
Yeah.
Those two I was really compelled by. I wanted more from them.
I could give two hoots about those people.
See? Well-
That girl had like no point in being in there whatsoever.
Well, hold on. That's fine. That's fine. But I like them because I like the mystery. My cons.
And they murked out the random dude that they had with them, like in an instant.
Right.
Like, what was the point of that?
What was the point in a lot of the show? The
And
cons.
what was the point of the witch that takes him there? Because they murked her out too.
Morgan?
Yeah. Like she's just like kind
know.
of useless.
Okay. So, I think leading up to them, for the cons for me, I enjoyed it up to the Anakin thing because I really did not, as someone coming in new,
You don't know that in that
the
story.
emotional beats
Yeah,
did
you
not
don't know
work
that.
for me at
Yeah.
all. After I watched that episode with Anakin, I was just like, okay, I don't get it
They
because
didn't establish it before.
she was wearing gray. She looked like she wanted to train Sabine, who is like a generic character to me. Then Sabine's like, "No, I am not a Jedi. I am a Mandalorian." And I
Yes.
was like, "Please stay a Mandalorian." By the end of the show, she all of a sudden can push someone like feet into like all of a sudden she has magical. She's full Jedi. So without any training. So okay, here we go, and that's fine.
Well, she had some training,
barely. She couldn't even move a cup.
but she's
And
been
all of
being
a sudden-
trained before that, though.
See, I don't know that.
Yeah,
So to me, it
they
makes
talked about
no
at the beginning of
sense.
this season that she was like they were training that Ahsoka was training Sabine
a
and
long
then they,
time ago.
Yeah, but she
then,
had some training. It's not like
right.
she just came in blind to learn being a Jedi.
So I think the show had a pacing problem. I felt like the last 2 episodes, I liked the episode leading up to that final episode. I will be positive on that final episode to say the action was really good and I did enjoy it.
I liked the
But-
show all the way until they got to the new galaxy. Once they got to the new galaxy,
It didn't make any sense.
and after the Thrawn appearance,
Yeah.
it basically all just fell apart.
Oh, my biggest complaint, Thrawn. I watched so many things about how he is most clever. He's always a step ahead. He's just a generic villain. They did not show me. He messed up so many times. That bridge that led up to the ship, he should have blown that thing up right away. Nope, he did that last. Then they couldn't even hit those two, them riding on the horses or
Well, because
whatever.
you got to think about it, they're not he's not shooting the guns. It's
I know,
like zombified
but
stormtroopers.
and then he's like, we can't underestimate a Jedi, but I'm gonna send 2 TIE fighters out. He had a line of TIE fighters.
There's
just-
no one to fly them though. That's the thing.
He had them all.
No, but there's no, he was, the whole point of that whole thing with them, that was like the one thing that they didn't explain very well. The cargo that they were loading onto the ship
Well, I understand.
were all the bodies of the stormtroopers that have died.
Yes, because they're gonna
And they're all
bring him back to life.
zombified versions of those stormtroopers. They're just returning them back because he's very, that's the thing that they didn't do with the show. They relied too much on, you've seen the cartoons.
Yeah, none of it.
They relied too much on that, on a lot of things.
I didn't think Thrawn was a
Thrawn's
force
character-
at all. He just seems like a
Thrawn's character
Guy.
you learned from from Rebels and other Rebels mostly is where he was
in the
most.
books.
In the books, but in the cartoons you learn that he's very not materialistic, but whatever, military.
Yeah.
If someone falls, he brings them back.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to leave a man on the field. He's very he's that kind of guy.
See,
He relies very much on they didn't show it, but on that Chimera, his ship, his office, every planet that he conquers, he saves their most valued possession and keeps it in his office as a memento.
yeah.
Not only because he wants to show off I've conquered these places, but he also really wants to also keep their traditions alive, kind of thing. He wants to be able
He's
to
like,
show.
I destroyed you, but
Yeah.
I will keep this memento.
Exactly.
Well, he's a psycho.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like what a serial killer. is.
exactly. So they kind
A
of
memento.
they did that. They didn't translate that part of him into the show.
Yeah, I
very well.
didn't.
Because they kind of relied on people having a little bit of knowledge of who these people were before they showed up in the show.
Yeah.
Like Sabine, like you were saying, she's kind of a throwaway character.
No, yeah, I didn't care about her
But
at all.
if you had seen Rebels, you know this backstory to her character.
Right.
And all the stuff that happened to her character.
This is what I'm saying.
And why her deciding to even think about becoming a Jedi is a huge thing.
And she just threw
Because
away.
they kind of hinted at it in the Anakin story where they had the flashback thing, because she goes and they show that Ahsoka's the one that led the siege
right.
on Mandalore, and
And not
roundaboutly
once.
that's where Sabine's parents die.
I get that, but not
So
once did I ever
roundaboutly,
get the.
Ahsoka's responsible for the death of Sabine's parents.
Well, no. Well, she said she doesn't want to train. Well, she's afraid if she were to train Sabine, she would go to the dark side because of her planet being destroyed.
No, because the thing is, I think, is because Ahsoka doesn't want her to realize, or doesn't want her to associate Ahsoka with the death of her parents.
And
So she
not
feels like if
once.
she teaches her and she finds out Ahsoka was on
I get that.
Mandalore during the siege of Mandalore,
Yeah.
that she's going to think that Ahsoka had something to do with her parents' death,
But-
and then that would turn into the dark side.
But not once is that brought up really in the show, and they bring.
no, they relied too much on you. Like
they said it
assuming things,
once,
or
and
you
I was
knowing
just like,
things.
Sabine is like you could destroy her easily. She's not that powerful. When they finally rescue Ezra, that
Yeah.
was very anticlimactic. They're like, "We got you," and then I'm like, "Okay, so the turtle people."
Or the whole like besides that, the point where she finds Ezra, and he turns around and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you found me," and then he's like, "How'd you get here?" And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And he's like, "Okay."
I know,
It's like, well, wait a minute, no, I know how hard it was for me to get here.
right?
What did you do to get here?
Right.
And how'd you get here?
And
And
the
why are you
big-
by yourself?
the big threat. The big threat. Nobody talks
Yeah.
about the big threat. And then what happened to Ahsoka?
Like, how'd you
I'll
get
tell
here
you later.
and Thrawn just let you go?
I
Like,
know.
how'd you have any connection? How'd you get by everybody and just find me by yourself?
The dialogue.
It's like there was no, like,
I know. It's
they left too much vagueness instead of just doing the thing, which is unlike Dave Filoni, because he's very much do the thing. But that could be the Jon Favreau part of it.
but he didn't write Jon Favreau.
No, I'm
didn't
saying,
write
but
this.
from the Mandalorian stuff, Jon Favreau could be the just do it guy, and Filoni's the one that wants to just assume people get these things, and he's like, no, we need to explain it to them.
Well,
So I don't know.
I don't know. Do you need to take that?
No.
Okay. This goes back to my point I talked about at the beginning of this podcast. These shows need writers, not just one writer, like Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. Also, I think they need to have them as showrunner. They need more people in these writing rooms. And I think these streaming services are trying to save money. And now with the strikes, they want this. And I think these shows prove it. You need a showrunner. You need writers. You need more brains in there. You need more eyeballs. You need smarter people in there. Because, yes, a showrunner like, or a writer like Dave Filoni, he might have done really well in the animated series, but TV is new to him. Then he comes into Mandalorian. Yeah, him and Jon Favreau wrote it together. But I feel, honestly, Jon Favreau by himself is not that great. And after watching this, my opinion, Dave Filoni by himself is not that great. I think together, but I think if you go back into TV, some of the best shows had a showrunner, multiple writers, they would butt heads and they would argue and they would try to figure things out. And some of the best TV is written that way.
That's a bigger issue than just this show. That's just streaming at
Yes, it's
a whole.
they're trying to save money.
That they just, like, if one guy says he'll write the whole thing, like, okay, great.
Right.
We don't care how it
And
looks.
it
We don't care how it
can
comes out. We
work.
just want to just get the show out.
It can work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Once in a great while, one person with one vision can come out and nail it.
Yeah.
But when you want a show
Need
to
the
continue,
counterbalance.
you need to have the Mandalorian, this whole big universe they're trying to do, I think would have worked if they established Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the showrunners, but we have a group of writers and a Bible, a show Bible. Every
Yeah.
show is a show Bible.
Yeah.
Like, you can go back to the Bible and be like, that's out of character.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
These shows are wonky.
I think the thing is the thing that they're trying to do is set up, like you were saying, they're trying to build this big universe and have all these characters meet up at one point and do the Avengers situation and have like all these people appear and have Thrawn be the Thanos of this universe, which
I'm not feeling it.
but it's the
Right
first,
now.
it's his intro. And by the way, when Thanos first appeared, people weren't like thinking he was that impressive either.
Well, when
So-
Thanos was introduced, it was a very small thing at the very end.
Yeah.
For me,
But I mean, even when
this
his
was
first
just like
time in the thing, it
Thrawn messed up constantly. Thrawn, if he's supposed to be like top of like a very smart person, that bridge would have been blown up. He
Well,
would have
it's
took
not-
off. Why did he
See,
slowly
that's the difference.
leave?
That's the difference thing is that they've established the fact through the show of Rebels that Thrawn is very arrogant. He thinks he is like the genius and doesn't need to like do the common things. Like he knows he's steps ahead of these rebels and the Jedi, and that he knows more because he's Grand Admiral Thrawn. He is the heir to the Empire.
But to
he
show
is the next
the
guy
viewer
to take
like
over.
me, something
that's
like
the
that
thing.
should have
I think that's
happened.
the issue, is that there was too much reliance on, you know, this from previous things.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue with it, is that if they had done more exposition on things and just giving you, like in the
They should have gave us a
on the
Thrawn
previous
episode. Is
or
what they should
different
have
things,
done.
or like a flashbacky thing that would have like described the story at the very beginning of it.
Yeah.
If they'd done like a live action recap of Rebels
They could have.
and then got into the show, so that way you'd have an idea of what was going on. Like at the first episode, where Sabine turns around and touches that painting on the wall. For you, that meant nothing
Yeah.
because you don't know where that's from.
I know it's from the animated
You know
series.
it's from the series, but you don't know the
That was like the
importance of
final
it.
shot,
That was the
right?
final shot of
Right.
the series.
I know that, but it doesn't.
But it doesn't mean anything to you
Yes,
because you didn't see
yes.
the series.
Yeah.
But for someone like me,
Yes.
who's seen the series, that's like a huge moment.
Right.
And
no,
there's
I
little
get
things
it.
in
I
that
get
where
it.
I think that's the thing. There's two different ways of viewing the show. And I think, unfortunately, they tried to straddle it too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hurt.
Right. And listen, I don't.
Which is very much unfortunate the way Star Wars has been lately. We're going to straddle it. We're not going to like try to do anything different or try to give you anything more. We want to just, keep it safe. Don't,
Well, Disney.
outside the box.
I
Just,
what I loved about Mandalorian
I don't
season
say
1 and
mail
2.
it in, but kind of mail it in.
Mandalorian season 1 and 2 was great because nobody had homework. We all entered this world together.
Yeah.
With Ahsoka,
You needed homework.
it's homework.
A lot of
and
homework.
I'm not doing it. And I jumped in and I thought it was just okay.
Yeah.
I'm nothing about it.
It's like any story.
I'm not that
it's like if you were
excited.
to jump into like
Yes.
Harry Potter at book 4, you wouldn't have the same interpretation of everything
But
as people who read 1, 2, and 3.
you know what
if
though?
you jumped into like a video game that you like play all the time that's had multiple versions, and
Yes.
you jump in three games in, you're not going to have the same feelings about the game as the person who's played all 3 of the previous games.
I get no, you're right, but with Ahsoka,
Like me with Halo. Like when I jumped into Halo
yeah,
with you guys, it was like Halo 2
maybe 2
or whatever.
or 3.
When you started playing at
Yeah.
John's, we didn't play the story. We just played the multiplayer.
Right.
So when we realized we're talking about the game itself, it had no affection on me whatsoever.
Right.
And like the first game, I still haven't played the first game.
Right.
I've never even played it. I have no idea about the story whatsoever.
Well,
So I don't have the same like cognitive stuff that you guys have. So I think that's
I agree with
Another
you.
part of
But when I watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka,
yes.
I got it. I got what they were saying. I got what they were doing. By
Yeah.
the end of it, I just thought it was bad writing, and it made no sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That final episode
Oh, the final episode ended terribly.
sucked.
Yeah.
It was not a good final episode.
No, it wasn't. It was a
This-
good like mid-season finale.
Right. We're going to take a week off. Or
Yeah.
we have 2 more episodes. To me, it was
Or if
so
you're doing
much
like the old
build
way,
up to
like,
nothing.
like Game of Thrones would do, where they do like the first half of the season at one season,
Right.
like in the spring, and then you come back in the fall for the second half,
Right.
kind of thing. Or like you used to do like a cliffhanger type
Also-
ending without the cliffhanger.
This show ended in such a way that it made me, the viewer, not care because the characters don't care.
Yeah,
I
Ahsoka's
mean,
fine with being on this
Ahsoka's
random
just
planet.
like, I'm here. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
we'll figure it
okay,
out.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Sabine, I could care less about. What's his name?
Ezra.
Ezra. Yeah, why was he wearing the helmet on when he got? How did he get out? How did Thrawn let him go? Like
Yeah.
Thrawn's supposed to be big and powerful. Thrawn should have been like, a ship doesn't leave here. How does he leave? How did he even get? Like, a lot of it made no sense. The writing was just kind of, and like you said, how did he find out where to go?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, do you stop for directions somewhere?
you know what the problem with 6 episodes?
It's not long enough.
They take too long to get there, and when they do,
Yeah.
it's too quick.
That's what to me. It seemed like there like should have been at least 8 to 9 episodes. When I
Yes.
first were talking about it, I was like, oh, it's not more than that. You're like, no, it's 6. I'm like, oh. I feel like you need at least 8 episodes.
Yes.
do a show. 6 is a miniseries. 8 is a series.
Or, you know what? Take as many episodes as it takes to tell a complete story.
Yeah. Yeah.
This, to me, felt like it should have been episode 4. They should have gotten to that planet.
Well, it could still be episode 6, but I think you could had
They could have
2
cut
more
out some of the
episodes
stuff that
and
we
ended
saw.
and moved some of that stuff around and pushed it back 2 more episodes.
No, I agree. It was not a good ending. It's
Like
just
there could have been an episode of Thrawn coming back to this galaxy or the original
right.
galaxy.
We should have saw that.
You could have had an episode where the rebels find out that Thrawn's back,
Right.
and that episode, it's like 7, like that's episode 7, and then 8 is Ezra trying to find a way off the ship, and he is able to contact somebody,
Right.
or he's able to get off the ship and runs into Zeb, who's out on a patrol or something.
Biggest
And then
problem
they
with the
get
show
back
is
together, and then
yeah, it's too short.
then you can get back and do the Hera thing because Zeb knows where Hera is.
Yeah, it was.
Then that's the easy way of doing it.
It felt
And on
like there was no
and on the other
conclusion.
planet, you could have had Ahsoka having that scene at the end where she sees Anakin. She thinks that, everything's going to be okay. Then during episode 7, Shin's character teams up with the militia group or whatever, tries to attack that group. And then you have that final episode 8, that final like battle between Shin and Ahsoka with Sabine now. And this time Sabine turns around and takes out Shin. Or does something that scares her away. So then you see like her character run off.
Yeah.
So at least you have like the stories are at least being kept going.
And Balin could actually, we would have saw what the
him,
hell,
like,
what
find
was
out
he doing?
A little bit of what he's finding out what
Right.
he's doing.
It just was.
But now the other thing
kinda-
is, unfortunately, you have to find someone to replace that character.
Yes.
So
And they should. Yeah.
leave Schreiber for Balin, in my opinion.
Well, no matter who
Or
takes
Andrew
over,
Lincoln, even. Why not?
Who-
Andrew Lincoln, why not?
whoever takes over, they should. I don't know. So for me, I left the show not really caring about anything that's going on.
Yeah.
I cared more about the 2 smaller characters that we still don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I said, I these shows need showrunners. These shows need better writers. They need
Well, I
a
think they
writer's
have
room.
showrunners, they're just not very good.
Dave Filoni needs a writer room.
Yeah.
Writers.
Yeah.
I don't know. These shows, because they're becoming bigger,
Yeah.
bigger budget. It looked great. No complaints there. I thought some of the action was great. The funniest moment in the whole show was like, what? Morgan shows up. The sisters give her
Yeah.
that cool ass knife.
Yeah.
Morgan
The
comes
sword.
in, the sword, to fight. So looks at Ahsoka, but then there goes Ezra and
Sabine.
Sabine walk right behind her and leave. And
Yeah.
Morgan's just like, I'm like, what? Wait, she's there to stop them. She literally can take them out. They're walking right behind her.
Yeah.
Like that fight between her and Ahsoka was so Morgan should have not have died.
Yeah.
I don't think she really is dead.
No, I don't think so either.
But I'm like, what? Like, how did they just walk right? It's like, I am the villain.
I think it's her thing of. I think the story about that was like she thought that Thrawn would be able to handle them, so she wanted to take care of Ahsoka.
I know.
So,
I know.
but whatever.
But it made no sense.
Yeah.
Made no sense. Anyway, I think the show, like you
Anyway,
said,
what's your
worked up.
grade? We gotta get this wrapped up here. We're past
I
your,
think
your
the show
time
worked
that
up
you
to
wanted
a-
to end the show.
See, you did it, not me.
The time you wanted to end the show, I said.
I think an hour is good. But anyway, I agree with you.
Some people
I
probably
think,
think we've been talking too long.
I think the show works up to a point.
I.e. our wives.
All right.
God, they can never shut up. The two of them talk forever.
All right. Anyway, your final thoughts, Mark, and your review. I'll
My
let you
final
go
thoughts.
first because you're going to be a little bit more positive on it than me.
All right. I'm going to give the show as a whole.
I
The-
gotta put this in my thing.
The final episode knocks it down probably a grade from what I was going to put it as.
Mhm.
Like I was probably going to, if going into the final episodes, I probably would have said like an 8.5 to a 9. Because of the way it ended, the lackluster ending kind of let down. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eight.
I mean, it wasn't terrible. There's a lot of good things in it.
Yeah.
It had the member berries. So,
Okay. I agree with you. I actually enjoyed up until the Anakin stuff. Then the show kind of got wobbly for me, and the ending did not work. The ending that episode would have worked if it was episode 6,
Yeah.
not 7.
Yeah.
Or no,
8.
whatever. How many
Yeah.
episodes? I don't know. They need more episodes.
Yeah.
They need better writing.
Which I don't think it's better writing. They just need to there needs to be someone else in the room to kind of be like,
That's called
that's
better.
probably the best idea.
That's better writing.
I think you need more writing.
When you have 5 writers,
I think if
in a
you have
writer's
you need
room,
more than one person writing the whole thing.
Right.
Is what you're trying to say.
The Simpsons didn't last this long because one guy wrote it.
Yeah.
It's because they've had people come in and out.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Cheers was great because you had writers. They
Yeah.
knew the characters.
Yeah.
I think this is something these shows are missing. And I think Ahsoka in season 3 Mandalorian proves it. Now, I will say this. Ahsoka was better than Mandalorian season 3. Ahsoka
Yes.
was way better than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
I did not like that at all. So for me, Ahsoka lands, it would go Mandalorian 1, 2, and I would put Ahsoka probably
3.
3, then Mandalorian season 3, and then Obi-Wan way at the bottom.
Yes.
So for me,
What about Andor?
I haven't watched it.
Oh my gosh.
I'll get to Andor once it's over, I think.
It's over.
No, they got season 2 coming out.
Oh. I meant like the season. Like the season's been over for almost a year now.
Once the whole show's over, I'll watch it. I know the ending. They all die. So what's the big rush? I don't care.
I know the ending. He's gonna die.
Yeah, I know the ending.
What do I need to know the prequel for?
Yeah.
It's like Darth Vader. Why do I need to know about why do I know about him when he was a kid?
That's the
He's
other
gonna
thing.
Die.
I have a real hard time buying that Anakin had a Padawan. It's a me thing. I really have a hard time.
It was forced on
believing
him
it. I know.
by the Jedi Council.
I just have a hard time believing that.
It was forced on the
canon.
Jedi Council by its Emperor, actually.
Yeah, I just have a hard time
Yeah.
believing it. But that's a me thing. So for me, just like you, if the ending had been a little bit better and there was a little bit more wrapping things up than
Yes.
leaving things wide open like they did,
Uh-huh.
I would have gave it a 7. I give it a 6.
Oh boy.
5.
Tough crowd.
5 is good. No, 5 is just good, right?
Okay.
5 is like 6 is just it's above average for me. It's above average show.
See, I go by the regular scoring.
That is regular scoring. A
Like
5.
64 is an F. So
Well, in a
like
scale,
grade school scoring, I go by that.
but that's a scale 1 through 10. 5 is middle of the road. Anything above 5, you have variations
Sure.
of good,
I'm just
excellent.
telling you how I grade. I'm not telling you that you're
All
doing
right.
it incorrectly. I'm just telling you that's how I grade it.
But like I said, I think it's
I mean, I was
okay.
a career C student, so I mean, a B is a fantastic score.
Yeah, B's are great. Listen, Ahsoka didn't make me that excited for whatever's going to happen next. I didn't watch go, oh man, I can't wait. I was just kind of like, all right. Well, I guess I'll watch the next thing. I'll see
Yeah.
what happens, but, I don't know. It's like Secret Invasion. Well, Secret Invasion was one of the worst, but Secret Invasion was just kind of like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Now, Ahsoka wasn't that bad. Like I said, there is great moments.
Hey, just give it the grade. You don't have to rationalize it.
6.
Okay.
6.
Don't need your rationalization of why you graded it.
Well,
what you did.
I'm telling you, I think at this point, I think there's Star Wars. Everyone has a different thing of Star Wars, and I think that's totally fine. You have people who love Andor. You have people who love this kind of stuff. You love people.
Well,
who
it's
love
like
the
whenever you
movies.
came into it. It's very I don't want to say generational, but it's very like
Well, it is generational.
yeah,
I
you know
would
what I
agree
mean.
with
Like
that.
if we are more the original trilogy people,
Yeah,
kids like my sister's age are more
The prequels.
prequel people.
and then you have a generation who
When you
watch
have
the
thing that
sequels.
just came out now, of the movies that just came out now. That's their version of Star Wars.
Right.
So every person has their own Star Wars.
And I'm fine with that. I'm not poo-poo.
Yeah.
And listen, I want to say this. I'm happy that you are eating well when it comes to Ahsoka because you get to see all these live. That I'm jealous
Yes.
because I wish I was on the same page.
I mean, you could be. You could just watch the cartoon, and then you wouldn't have been that way.
I just don't have.
Well, then
any-
don't like.
I just don't. What I'm telling you though is, not trying to poo-poo.
I like the food you're eating,
I'm not.
but I don't want to make the food.
I'm
you're
not
eating.
poo-pooing people who really love Ahsoka. I'm not saying they're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me, coming in as the outsider, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Some of the times.
Like
That's
I
all
said, I
I'm
think
saying.
if they had had some kind of, you didn't have to be a live action version. If they just showed like a highlight from the cartoon,
But I did watch that on IGN. I watched the highlights.
but like, at least it was like if there was one that was specifically made for the show,
Right.
where
They gave
it was
you the beats
coherent
you need
and not
to
like
know.
just random clips that were put together.
Right.
That would have made it easier
Right.
for the noobs to come in.
I can't wait until Loki's happening. I'll watch that, but I just need a break from the
Well, you're not going to get one.
MCU shows. No, well, MCU shows have been pushed.
Well, I mean, everything's gotten pushed because of the strikes.
Daredevil's
so you're going to get a
now-
break because of that.
Thank God.
A forced break.
2024 they
Just
pushed
the actors though, not the writers. Just so you know.
just for actors, not the writers. Yes, the actor strike is still happening. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I got it wrong. They pushed out Ironheart to 2024.
They're still doing that?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not going to watch it. Echo got pushed to January.
Yeah.
I'm not
whatever.
going to watch that. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, because it's connected to Daredevil, so if Daredevil's good, I might watch it. Just because it's connected to that story.
I'm just not going to watch it.
Ironheart,
I'm not going to watch
for
it.
me in Black
I'm to
Panther
the
2.
point where now I'm going to be picky and choosy. I'm like I've said before. I'm only excited for Deadpool 3. That's it.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's all. My excitement is Deadpool 3.
Like Secret Wars, I'm excited for.
We
I
got to
mean,
get
just see
there
how it gets
first.
there.
I can't be excited for something we're not.
Yeah. I mean,
We're not even there.
But I think, not for nothing, I think if you started watching Loki this season, it kind of starts getting your remember berries open again of back when Marvel was good again.
Well, I'm fine with that, but we have to get to Kang's Destiny first.
I think it's going to appear in this one.
That's
no,
first.
King's Dynasty is after.
Kang's Dynasty's first, isn't it? And then Secret Wars?
No, I think Secret Wars is first, and then King's Dynasty is after that.
You know what? I
don't remember.
I can't get excited.
They'll have something, and they'll talk about it.
Because there's no plan.
We got plenty of time.
I
The
gotta
strike's
see-
going to go for another couple months, so we got plenty of time.
I got to see the Marvels to see where that
I don't think
lands.
that's even going to have anything, so don't worry about it.
I don't even know who the big bad in Marvels is.
Tom Hiddleston's wife, actually, in real life.
But what's she playing?
She's playing the sister of,
Another
if I
squirrel?
remember correctly, no, the sister of the guy from Guardians, the first Guardians, that had the hammer.
Yeah.
I think it's his sister, I think.
Oh.
I think it's somehow connected to that. A Kree
Interesting.
thing.
Okay.
I think it's like a Kree Zendarian thing.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where Miss Marvel got her powers from.
All I want is someone on any of these shows and movies to acknowledge the gigantic thing coming out of the ocean.
Yeah.
The celestial.
I mean, that'd be nice.
So, like, these movies they're not connected anymore. Everything is just a mishmash.
Well, I mean, I think they're also just saying that the Marvels movie, I think they're just not whitewashing, but just like brushing away the Marvels movie to be like, it never happened. Don't worry about that.
The
didn't actually
Eternals
happen.
movie?
Eternals, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say anything because no one watched it. So no one's going to be like, oh, remember that thing that happened in Eternals? No one's going to be like, no.
It did
no
make
one
a
wrote
lot of
anything that happened
money,
in
so people did watch it.
Yeah.
It was just
well, they're not making a second
poorly
one, so-
reviewed. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our show.
That is.
We'll be back next week.
That's the plan.
Hopefully
here.
here.
Unless life happens.
Hopefully here, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm
Marcus,
back in the office more, so.
don't forget East of the River,
Yes.
2 weeks,
Yes, the 29th.
29th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2 floors,
Two
packed
big
to the
floors.
gill. Artists, vendors,
Comics.
comics,
Toys,
toys,
collectibles.
collectibles.
Scott.
Me, Matt Ryan,
Possibly me
Mark
sometime during
Warnock.
the day.
We're gonna be tired. D&D happens the next day,
The night before.
the night before.
Yeah.
All right, Marcus.
All right.
Let's wrap
As
it up.
always, be safe. Be well. Be kind.
And rewind.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.